Wowzers. Okay, so we're talking about generational curses. Yeah, whatever. It's not even so much a generational curse. It's just that the people that are manifested are curses that they in and of themselves. They are the curse. It's not a generational curse. What it is basically the pussification of men. Pussies. They're pussies, and they don't want to exterminate demons from this planet. They would prefer to have it to where men, women, children are basically having to suffer the consequences of them being the most worthless excuses of leaders. This goes for male and female. And then that's what happens. It's traumatization, genocide, rape, sexual assault, child abuse, child endangerment, theft, all sorts of. It's just honestly, it's counterproductive. Okay, having children outside of wedlock. Really? Is there somebody to have a wedding with? No, that's just called rape. And see, that's where the males get their exceptions made for them. Whereas we, the people who we don't follow religious doctrines. We have a God. Our God is our husband, our natural husband. When I say husband, husband meaning who you are compatible with and who it draws out the most positive from you. So when you're paired with your proper husband, you're going to be at peace, you're going to do well, you're going to be the best version of yourself versus when you're conflicted and you're around a bunch of low lives because they just refuse, they can't regulate themselves for sure. They can't live on their own. They must basically triangulate with women and with children or with, institutional whatever. And they power them up basically by giving them housing, allowing them access to children to do witchcraft on, and basically just a free for all for them. They get exceptions made in this fantastically idiotic construct. Whereas criminals are released back into society to prey on their next victim. And victim does not mean that you're weak. Victim means that you're in a society already that already is disrespectful. They don't uphold certain principles that are worthy of being honored, anyways. This culture sucks, as it has been said. I can't stress that enough. The culture sucks. Males don't take accountability for their whore ways. Females don't take accountability for their insecure loser ways. I mean, honestly, they want to be, we're so pretty, but we're also dysfunctional and toxic. What good is the pretty if you're dysfunctional, vindictive, and toxic? Okay? Or we're so this, so therefore we have a right to impose our will into your life and make it more complicated rather than allowing you the opportunity to be with your partner who is suitable for you, and he's not going to have you out here being a slave for him. If you're with somebody that you want to be with, you'll be happy to do for them. It's not going to feel like a chore to serve them. Just like if you really were with your partner, you're not going to feel adequate being basically disrespected that way. If you were with your true partner, you would not allow your partner to be taken advantage of by this worthless ass society without you saying your 2 cents. That's how you know that's not your husband. If that was your husband, you would be happy to listen to his instructions, just like you would feel safe enough to tell him when you disagree with something. You wouldn't be scared or have to use some manipulative tactic in order for him to do what you want him to do. He'd be happy to do what you're asking. It's not a generational curse. It's just a complacency and toleration of what should have never been allowed to remain because, like I said, they're pussies and they don't want to be men. And they're going to go extinct if they choose to just allow this to continue to go on, whereas we're here in this planet among demons, full-fledged demons. There's no there's no ifs, ands, but they're full-fledged demons. There's nothing good about them. They look like humans. They're not human. They're demons. They're having children. They're having children outside of wedlock. This has nothing to do with us. They are. The only times that a female is really honestly culpable is when she's having multiple children, birthing them, and then somehow basically being disrespectful to she's biting the hand that feeds her, in which case it would be the taxpayer. So if she's advocating for someone who doesn't respect her enough to not leave her with that many children, then there is a problem. Another problem is basically being part of the group of people that were guilty and responsible for selling their own alleged people, in which case you're talking about Africans, and her somehow being with some rich white dude over here in America, and then going on the internet talking about, of course I'm with a white man because I want to spend his money and he's rich. Like, really? So you not only did your people sell these people, but then you're going to go ahead and be like, let me go ahead and just, that's how these demons work. See how she's able to do that. So then they're able to exploit him through her, because here she is, she's a gold digger, and she's a vindictive, just, she's like honestly just out of touch. I don't like them. I don't like those ones who do that. I don't like any female who does that. It's disgusting. Every single last female who, of course I'm with so and so because he has all that money. You're just embarrassing, and they're crazy enough to deal with you because obviously he's either insecure, or because he just doesn't have no regard for nothing, and he's pathetic. Hopefully he doesn't have any children with this demon, because if he does, the problem, then you want to talk about generational curses? No, you're just passing off those traits of a demon. That's not a generational thing. The only way that there could be that child is going to be like a decent human being, maybe, is on the behalf of some sort of influence. The influence being however it comes. You could say it comes from, it comes down to the individual. Do they choose the path of wicked, or do they choose the path of what's right? Were they ever exposed to anything that's right? That's another thing. Exposure. If you're never exposed to anything that is of any decency, it makes it very difficult to basically duplicate something that you've never seen. If you can't duplicate something that you've never experienced, it makes it difficult. It makes it difficult as well when, like, see, for instance, I remember my grandfather kind of teaching me, watching me teach him, watching me, observing me disobey him, because he put like a pepper on the counter and told me not to eat it. I didn't know that it was a pepper, and it was very hot. But then I was able to resolve the issue by myself. I don't know if he was watching this part, but I feel like that he was, because he knew I was gonna eat it. He knew that I was gonna eat that pepper. He said, "Don't eat this," and I did anyways. But then I guess he watched me resolve the issue on my own. I ate everything from popsicle to ice cube, water, juice. Nothing worked. But when I finally got to the milk, so then it was like, okay, all right, I get it. So I don't know, what does that mean for me? Can you fix the problems? First of all, what did you learn? What did I learn from it is that, well, you should obey. However, it's difficult to obey when that's terrible. That's a terrible thing to do anyways. Is like, you should not be telling someone, don't do this, and then keep it around them. Like, if you're going to say something like that, like, don't, if I don't know, but it's like, basically get it away from them. If you really don't want them to have any interaction with whatever it is, keep that whatever it is away from your children. Keep it away. not a don't do this and then leave. How about where's the restriction against this thing that you don't want people interacting with? Put something so that there is a divide, because it's like you need borders, you need security. You can't tell your children one thing and expect them to just be obedient just because sometimes your parents are wrong when they tell you don't do something, and then when you obey, and then you find out that when you were obedient to them, they were telling you to do something that's wrong. Like, for instance, when I was stolen from my grandfather and forced to reside with criminals, who are hypocrites, by the way, like, they're, I guess, white women are entitled to be with minority males, and minority males are entitled to be with white females. But then when it comes to us, who are of German descent, but we're also mixed with criminal blood because they're minorities, whatever, we're abused for having the audacity to like who we like and for who we like to like us consensually, right? So we're abused, ridiculed, and isolated, alienated, when we have relationships with white boys in our schools when we're children. So then we go through a process of abuse because of that, which basically pathologizes us to refrain from that. And then what we're introduced to is those who sexually assault us and basically pay the minority so that they may sexually assault us, and then the law enforcement have the audacity to arrest us for us being sexually assaulted. You see how that slavery, modern day slavery, works there? But anyways, so they were telling me, the kidnappers, the fucking creeps that took me from my home, they were telling me to throw away the potatoes when they had eyes on them, because I was like, why? I had asked, what do you want me to do with these? I'm cleaning, because I was the slave of the place, unpaid, mind you, I'm a child. They said, what do you want me to do with these? Do I throw these away? And the criminal's wife, third wife that is, this is a Christian, mind you, Christian, his wife tells me to throw them away because they're bad. Now, you fast forward years on down the line, and all of a sudden everything around me is sprouting. Like, literally, I could have no fruit, no vegetable without it already starting to grow. And I'm like, this must be like a sign, because it was like I noticed it like once or twice, and then it was like everything started growing. Like, literally anything that came out of the soil, everything grew like on its own. Garlic, onion, everything. And I was like, okay, this just can't be a coincidence. So I'm looking it up. What is it? Because I'm like, I was told to throw these potatoes away that had the eyes on them. I didn't know that they were called eyes. I was like, what is this that's coming out of these potatoes like this? I don't know how I typed it on Google. Google told me you can plant those. I was like, so this whole time I've just been throwing away food? I could have had my own supply of potatoes? Yeah. I was like, wow. So that's what happened when you obey. When you obey these people that the government, that the institutional family court said, you have to, you are forced to reside with these criminals. That's what the criminals are teaching us, is to throw away food supplies. And then what the criminals are doing here, that are coming from Africa, that have wives in Africa who feel entitled to raping our bodies, even though we're paying them to reside in a house, in a room that someone else built, not this African who's supposed to be in Africa with his wife and is over here being cheater, trying to potentially cheat, even though he's ugly as hell and has no business trying to be on my body like that. I'm paying him rent, but he wants to fuck me, right? So he destroys my fucking garden because I'm growing all these vegetables and fruits, and he decides to destroy all of that. I sue him, and I won my case, but I've never seen a penny of it. So when we're being obedient to them, look at the shit that they do. So from my grandfather from me disobeying my grandfather the one time when he put that hot pepper on the counter, I learned how to resolve my own fucking problems, for one. But for two, I learned what I learned from them, who were telling me everything wrong and abusing me and all that shit. I learned that they're the type of creatures that will have us going extinct, because they teach us to do things that goes against nature. That's what I learned from them. We have the African that was destroying my crops, so he would have me starving just because of his ego. And then the white female who was married to this false prophet, she was teaching me that she would have me starving as well because she don't know. She's telling me to throw away perfectly good food supply that already started for me. So this is the ignorance that comes out of y'all because you want slaves so bad that it's just like it's pitiful. You want the people who are self-sufficient to be the slaves, while those who are basically being wasteful, selfish, self-centered, greedy, that's the one that's supposed to be in charge of shit. Hell no.